Hello, hello, all of our change makers. We are celebrating change makers in this group because we know that there are lots of things that need to happen to create the world that we know in our hearts is possible. I am Cheyenne Kramer, and I'm so delighted to be here today with a gentleman that I hope some of you in the group find to be rather interesting, because this is the challenge, man. We may be healers, we may be heart-centered entrepreneurs, but if we can't figure out how to package that knowledge and get it out to the masses, then we are going to trip ourselves up for a long time. So I am so excited. Welcome, Gieo. We're thrilled to have you with us today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here and happy to have the opportunity to spread the message and, like you said, to help other people help other people.
That's exactly what we all need to be doing. So please tell us a bit about yourself and what you're doing, and even more importantly, why you're doing it.
Yes. Well, what I do is I help people in the holistic health, wellness, and transformational change space to put their knowledge together into a online group program. I call them hybrid group programs because my particular spin on them is that the best transformational programs have a combination of recorded content, community, and also connection to the expert themselves. And so people can, it's almost like having, a direct connection with your doctor. I see the people that I work with, some of them are doctors, some of them are chiropractors, naturopaths, and some of them are health coaches who have, learned through their certification programs how to help people. And the reason why I am so passionate about it, it's a little like we were speaking about just here, just recently, is that I see that the healthcare system is just is completely broken. It's completely broken, and
Mm,
things
mm,
that should be very simple solutions, things that are like high blood pressure, diabetes, pre-diabetic conditions, many of these things are easily
mm. Uh-oh.
reversed, but the doctors have no knowledge about how to do it.
That is a fact. That is a fact. As we said earlier, there's a difference between healthcare and disease care.
Yeah, it is. It's a different system. And like I was saying too, that I don't like to put down professions. I have a great respect for the medical profession, and they do an amazing job when it comes to emergency care, when the body is in an emergency situation. But when it comes
Yes.
to what is now often referred to as lifestyle medicine, which is many of the diseases that people are challenged with are lifestyle diseases. They're a result of the lifestyle, the kind of food that they eat, the lack of exercise. And so, some of the programs that I help people to create, that's what they are. They're lifestyle medicine programs. And when you go to the doctor, they say, what do they say? They say, that oh, you've got high blood pressure or you're pre-diabetic, you should really exercise and eat better.
Yeah.
But there's no instruction on how to do it. And more so, it's not that people need the information because the information is available, for free, on YouTube and different places like this. But when you're doing a habit shift or a difficult transformational shift, it's difficult to do that by yourself. But in a
It
group
is.
environment where you have accountability and you have, again, like I said, direct access to somebody who can hold your hand, walk you through it, then not only does it become easier, but what I find is it actually becomes fun and enjoyable to make, what some people call, oh, you've got a difficult shift. It actually becomes fun to do it when you're doing it with other people.
Agreed. Agreed. Well, and you have kind of an interesting background because you were involved in media related things before you got so engaged in the whole holistic health field. So tell us a little bit about that side of your world, and how are you integrating that knowledge into helping people to be able to market themselves?
Yeah, there's two pieces, two of the most beneficial things that I got from college, and I, spent a number of years, 7 years altogether in college. But when I started in media communications, graphic design, television production, things like this, messaging and marketing, mostly focused in, for the purposes at the time of what we now call, legacy television media.
Mhm.
And so that's where part of my roots are. And that was just that turned out to be very close to the center of my natural gifts. I enjoy communicating and communicating ideas and helping people to understand how to make shifts and make changes. So that was a great benefit at the beginning, like beginning of my career. The other piece that I got early from college that was probably the most valuable one class that I ever took was a career planning class that was based around what color is your parachute?
Ooh,
Yeah.
good
And
stuff.
it was a mandatory class in this community college, Greenfield Community College in Greenfield, Massachusetts. And that course, what that taught me, and I've now made my own mixture around it, is that it taught me that each of us has a natural gift. We have natural gifts and things that we're drawn to do. And so when I help people now to create online programs, I oftentimes use kind of a similar approach to help them to see where their natural gifts are, what they enjoy doing, and then lining that up with a need in the marketplace. And those skills, they are things that I'm naturally drawn to do, but I got that from that one class. And so that's
Mhm.
often where I usually start with people, is helping them to find out and define what their natural gifts are and where that could be most useful and most profitable as well.
Awesome. I'm all about that. That's one of the things I have said for years is that we spend way too many years trying to follow the money trail and then jam our natural skills and talents in around that, and it's like, no, let's figure out where the talents are, where the passion is, and build the income around that. Doesn't that make sense?
It makes makes sense. It makes sense to me. And I have had a few different career transitions in my life. Probably three specific ones that I can point to. But every time I made those shifts, I went back to those skills that I got. And then, like I said, that's the usually the starting off place, because yeah, chasing the money or looking outside of yourself, uh, it's not the best place. The things that are you're passionate about and you're gifted at, when you do that first, it's very counterintuitive, but you'll
Mhm.
find you'll find the big idea. And that's oftentimes what I say to people is, let's search and find what that big idea is, and see how it's connected to your own purpose and passion in life. And I know a lot of people talk about this, and it can seem like, oh, everybody's says that, but they say it for a good reason, because it's true.
Mhm. Absolutely. And we had talked earlier about the idea of shortening people's suffering. So, what do you know about suffering when it comes to the whole marketing and business building side of things?
Oh my gosh, I know a lot about this. and, uh, and I like to think that I help to shorten the period of challenge, to get something new started. I started a company in my previous career as a landscape architect, and grew that company into a little over $12 million in sales. Um, so that's a good foundation for me. But when I made the switch in 2008, 2009, I could see the opportunity that YouTube and other online platforms could provide in this ability to do what we're doing right now, and to create video content, live streams and different things like this. But I didn't have a real clear sense of both how to do it, and what the product itself should be. So I spent a good 2 years kind of spinning my wheels and making almost no money on it, and I had a pretty good amount of financial resources going into it. But about sometime, I think in late 2009, I had exhausted all those resources,
Mm,
and
mm,
it got so bad that my utilities got shut off,
mm.
and and just as my utilities got shut off, I had a webinar planned, and I had built up a fairly significant audience on using webinars, using LinkedIn, and I was at that time I was offering training programs, or I was building training programs or something. I didn't really know exactly what it was exactly going to be, but like I said, I basically went through all my money, and I had basically zero money left, and
Mm,
my power got shut off. But
mm.
this webinar was happening, and I had a pretty good audience, and I knew it was going to work. I just knew it was going to work, and I have been an entrepreneur my whole life, and anybody who knows about being an entrepreneur, there are challenges, even if you have a very successful company. You get to moments in time, there are challenges, but as an entrepreneur, we have that drive that leads us through. So I was not going to be deterred. And in fact, I honestly wasn't even particularly scared about it, other than the fact that I was a single parent, still am a single parent. But at the time, my daughter was pretty young. Our power got turned off, and I'm like going through the couch cushions to find enough money to make food. Um,
Wow.
so I did the only thing that made sense to me at the time, as I went over to knock on my neighbor's door, and I said, I've got a little problem with my power. Can I run an extension cord over to your house?
Wow. Okay.
Because I got this webinar I got to do, and I can't, I've got to do it because it's important, and it's what I'm doing now. And so they agreed. They laughed and they agreed to it. So I ran an extension cord, did my webinar, and so a group of people came on, and one of the people that came on to the webinar, or they signed up for the webinar, they had a problem getting registered, and they sent me a little message through LinkedIn, said, hey, you know what, I clicked on your registration link, but I can't, it's not working for me. And so I said, well, try it again. That happens sometimes. But the entrepreneur side of me, and one of the qualities that I have very strongly, is curiosity. I'm like, who is this person? So I go look to see who this person is. Well, lo and behold, she's the marketing director for the largest landscape company in America, Valley Crest at the time, and
Wow.
um, and I was actively looking, for an investor, and so I invited her to be on the show, and it was called the State of the Green Industry in 2009. Everybody wanted to know, are things going to get better? And she had a lot of insights about that, so she came on the show. We did a great combination show, kind of like what we're doing right now. And after the show ended, we got on the phone, and she was like, man, that went really well. And she's like, I can think of a lot of other things that we could do together. And I said, yeah, me too. And within 30 days, we had a business agreement put together, and she deposited $30,000 into a joint account to
Wow.
develop the training programs for the environmental industry. But more than the money, it was her connections. Like, she knew the media companies that had magazines, and it was mostly all magazines at the time. So they opened up their door. Everybody was interested at the time, right? It was early days. And
Wow.
so, long story short, I got my power turned back on, had $30,000 in the bank, and then we ended up selling a little over $100,000 worth of that online course, and then some other media services that we put together.
Amazing. That's probably one of the best stories I've heard this week. So thank you for that. Oh my gosh. And and so now you take all that body of knowledge that you've got and you can shorten people's time to success and money in the bank. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah, that is correct, and that's there's many nuances about how I help people, but that is probably the most valuable thing. Is I do use some of the things we were talking about earlier, and help people to get to the center of the big idea.
Hmm.
I was just talking, in a live stream I was doing earlier today about Mel Robbins, and she just recently, I don't know how recently, but launched, her new products around the notion of let them. And many people are familiar now. She's got the book, she's got, training programs, but she talks about how the idea of let them, which is the idea of, letting people be who they are and not letting them frustrate you. But she received that idea in a moment, a spark of inspiration. And so I help people to get to that, in a fast period of time. Everybody is different, everybody is unique and individual, and some people have high ability to focus and motivate. But yeah, I shorten that period of time, and help them to avoid the pain that I had to go through.
Wow. Wow. Well, share with us, if you will, one of your best success stories.
Yeah. Well, I have a number of them. So I'd love to tell probably one of the most recent ones, which is with one of your recent guests, and it's how I found you. But my client, Mark Mangus, who he has a name, the Digital Shaman, and he's a Paco shaman from the Four Winds School. And he went through a very, very significant health crisis, and the medical profession, completely failed him. Had no solutions after he got into a terrible car accident and had extreme pain, and the only thing they could really offer him was painkillers, basically. So I helped him to do what I do. I helped him to put his experience together into a what I call a lifestyle medicine program, and it's a group online program. And now he has launched that program, and that program is so good in terms of helping people to regain their health and maintain it, to create a lifestyle where it's on maintenance now. That I joined the program, myself. It's a phenomenal transformational program, and I'm 61 myself now. I turn 61 this year, and I recently did like a blood panel test, and my blood panel test shows that I'm 7 years younger than my chronological age, which I was like, yes.
All
Uh,
right.
and it's really not hard to do, but what makes it not hard is being in a group context with a good, skilled, leader who has the information put together well, and makes it inspiring, and you have accountability and other people who you're with on the journey. So that's one most recent one that I just very proud of, Mark.
Awesome. 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 Yeah, he is an amazing guy. Uh, so tell me, do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years down the road? Are you a solo act, or are you working with a group of people in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I'm a solopreneur, and I have a few assistants that help me with different things.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of talk right now, particularly in entrepreneurial circles. People are like, who's going to be the first billion-dollar, one or two person or three-person company. And that's not specifically my aspirations, but I find that I'm able to do what I do, particularly now with the addition of the use of AI, which I use quite strongly for the development of training content, marketing messaging, and all this type of stuff, as well as the video editing tools that are now so easy to use and so helpful. It's just, I mean, it's reduced the amount of time that it takes to create social media content and course content.
Mhm.
So this would be like a legacy thing for me. I mean, one of the people that does inspire me, he's passed away now, but Jack LaLanne and his wife. I remember, I can't remember what year it was, but I, like a lot of people, bought one of his juice machines, and he's doing these infomercials, and he's like 80 something years old at the time.
Yeah.
and he was like in
Wow.
top health. So not only do I want that for myself, but my vision and what does inspire me, what I say to myself, every day is, the ability to reach out and teach and touch, tens and hundreds and thousands and millions of people all over the world.
That's what it's all about, and to just, we've heard it some lately, and kind of goes back to some of the things you were inferring earlier is, the US spends more money than anyone else in the world on healthcare, and we rank somewhere around 49th or 50th in terms of our results. So to me, the work that you're doing is so important because we've got a lot of wonderful people who can show people, I would call them adjuncts to whatever they're getting out of our normal healthcare system. But if people never hear about it, it does no good. So thank you so much for the work that you're doing to get these products, these services, and these messages out to the masses. It's so needed.
Yeah, it's so needed, and you are so right. I mean, the number that I saw, like when you do a Google search, that in America, I think it's something like $12,500 for every person in America is spent on healthcare, and yeah, it's not a statistical thing; it's a reality thing that the care that people get, it's mostly the results that people get. It's the
Results.
results, and
Yep.
people will be on medications, and they'll have diabetic conditions, and they're still alive, but they have no very low quality of life, and that now has become almost like accepted, like that's just a normal thing that doctors
Mm,
they expect to
mm.
see now. But to their credit,
Well,
I have to say one good thing about the doctors now is that a group of doctors that's led by a doctor out of Mass General in Boston have emerged what's called the College of Lifestyle Medicine, and so this
how about
this is
that?
yeah, this is the doctors learning, understanding now that the system is broken, and they're part of it. So they're learning now, they're learning the nutritional and metabolic functions, but what they don't have, and this is what I help people, and this is the opportunity for health coaches, is a different model, to work with groups of people online. It's almost the opposite because doctors are so friggin' concerned about, HIPAA compliance. But people heal best in groups where we support each other and we inspire each other. So that's
Mm.
what I help people to do. And like I said, I help people to get to financial success with that in a very fast form.
Love it. Love it. Well, how in the world can people get a hold of you?
Well, they can go to my Facebook. I have a Facebook private community that's called the Wellpreneur Community on Facebook. So Wellpreneur, like entrepreneur, but wellpreneur
Mhm.
community, and that is the probably the best place for people to go because I have a lot of free content there, and I do live streams every Wednesday that helps people to get an introduction and learn about the nuances, and that's probably the very best first place to go. And I also do have an email, of course, which is just simply my name, Geo, Gieo, at g3mediagroup.net, and that's another good way to connect with me.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, and I'm curious, do you have any final thoughts, final words of wisdom that you can share with the audience?
Final thoughts, final words of wisdom. Well, I would say this, that I have benefited from. I mentioned earlier, I benefited from working with Tony Robbins when I was 22
Mhm.
years old, and he was in the early stages of launching his own coaching practice. Now, of course, he's one of the most well-known coaches in the world now, but everybody starts at zero,
Mhm.
and I'm partially as an entrepreneur as well. I just know this, that everything that's amazing in the world, the iPhones, Apple computer, everything starts from just an idea.
Mhm.
So anybody can do this. It's a matter of finding their passion, their purpose, their big why, and then getting some help to turn it into a stream of income.
Mm, 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 mm. And may all of our high school students in the world hear that very message because that's where it all started for me was back in high school watching my friends. I mean, I lost some to suicide, others went off to do what their well-meaning family said, "Oh, but that's where the money's going to be." And some of them are still miserable today.
Yeah, yeah. I have only had a couple of jobs in my lifetime, and never working for a big corporation. And I know even some of those corporate jobs, and some of my clients have those corporate jobs where they're transitioning out of high paying jobs where they're making two or $300,000 a year, but they have no freedom. They're overworked. I don't want to say they're underpaid because they're paid quite well. But
Yes.
the people, when I work with people, it typically turns into an equal income, a six-figure income. I call it a doctor level income because that's what's possible when you work with a group of people. Yeah, the
Yes.
largest group I was ever in myself was a group of 200 people in a meditation teacher training. And the people think about, meditation teachers or yoga instructors, oh, they don't make any money. Well, this couple, husband and wife, they are the founders of this program, and they teach about 200 people. And that one program produces almost a $500,000 of income. And they work about an hour and a half per week. They do their show from or their trainings from their house in California on the California coast. But again, this is something that is open. It's a opportunity that anybody can do. It's not limited to the health and wellness space, but that is the area that I'm passionate about.
I gotcha. Well, thank you again for being with us today, Geo. I am greatly appreciative of everything you're bringing to the marketplace, and go forth and help more people get that healing message out there to the masses.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. Have a good one. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again in the next interview. Take care, everybody.